You already know the truth I'm about to say. You've felt it in your bones, but never had a name for it. Attraction happens before language. Long before your first hi, she has already read your posture, your pace, your breathing, your eyes, the subtle rhythm of your presence in a room. The conversation starts the moment you appear, and most men ruin it with noise. Too many words, too much explanation, too much nervous energy spilled into the air. If you can hold your frame in silence, you flip an ancient switch in her mind. You become the signal in a world of static. And when a man becomes the signal, he doesn't chase attention. Attention lands on him and asks permission to stay. If what you've heard so far is shifting how you see yourself, stay with me until the end, because we're just getting started. Here's the foundation that too many ignore. Everything nonverbal begins with breath. Your breath regulates micro movements you don't notice, how your shoulders settle, how your jaw hangs or tenses, how steady your gaze feels, how smoothly you shift weight from foot to foot. Shallow, rapid breath telegraphs neediness and hurry. Slow, grounded breath announces that you are unthreatened and in control. Before you walk in anywhere, give yourself 3 cycles. Inhale through the nose, let it fill the belly, hold for a beat, release through the mouth, longer than you inhaled. On the 3rd exhale, imagine you're pouring heavy sand through your legs into the floor. That weight, that grounded feeling, is your silent suit of armor. It's not theatrical. It's not a performance. It is alignment. When your breathing is slow, your movements are slow. When your movements are slow, you occupy more psychological space. And a man who occupies space without apology reads as confident without saying a word. Presence is the difference between being in a room and shaping the room. Presence starts with posture, but ends with attention. Posture is stacked and easy. Crown of the head lifted, chest unlocked, not puffed, shoulders back and down, pelvis neutral. Think long spine, heavy heels. That's the outward piece. The inner piece is where you point your attention. Men who leak attention look scattered. Their eyes grab at everything, their hands fidget, their stance shifts. Men who command attention give it strategically. Choose what matters. Her, a point in the room, the exit, the bartender, a painting on the wall, and let your attention rest there with purpose. You'll feel your face settle and your eyes soften. The entire body follows the eyes. If your gaze is stable, your body becomes an anchor. If your gaze is jumpy, your body becomes a weather vane. Anchors are irresistible. Before we go further, understand the frame. You don't flirt to get approval. You flirt to reveal and to test alignment. Flirting without words is the art of offering a clean, potent signal and reading the reply. It's diplomacy between 2 nervous systems. It's not hunting, it's resonance. And resonance requires contrast. In a world that's frantic and loud, your power is quiet control. That quiet control amplifies everything you do. A half smile has more gravity, a glance lasts longer, the pause between steps stretches like a taut wire. You're not performing mystery. You're expressing restraint. Restraint is tantalizing because it implies choice. Choice implies abundance. Abundance implies value. This is the chain her mind follows whether she knows it or not. Your entrance sets the tone. Don't burst through the door with erratic energy and don't creep in like you're afraid of your own presence. Pause 1 step inside the threshold. Let your body stop. Let your eyes sweep the space once, slow and deliberate, left to right. Then move with an easy pace to where you intend to be. The pause at the door is a declaration. You are not rushing to belong. You belong because you bring your own atmosphere. As you move, keep your path straight with minimal zigzagging. Straight lines read as intent. If you change direction, do it early and decisively, not in tiny corrections. Tiny corrections signal doubt. Decisive movement signals purpose. Women don't need you to telegraph your purpose. Their bodies pick up on it in how you walk. Choose where you place yourself with care. Corners are traps if you look like you're hiding. The dead center of a busy space is insecure peacocking. The sweet spot is the edge with a vantage point, a pillar to lean an elbow against, a side of the bar with a view of entries and exits, a spot where people cross near you without brushing. You want the world to flow around you as if you were a rock disrupting a stream, not a leaf carried by it. When you stand, angle your body at roughly 45 degrees to the room rather than squared to it. Angling says you're open yet selective. Squared front says you're waiting. Completely turned away says you're closed. Open torso, relaxed hands visible, one foot slightly forward. That foot forward is an invitation. It makes closing the distance later look natural, not predatory. Hands tell truths your mouth can't. Keep them visible, relaxed, and slow. If you hold a glass, hold it low, not as a barrier across your chest. If you put a hand in a pocket, hook the thumb casually and keep the other hand free. Play with your watch or ring only as a deliberate slow gesture, not as a nervous tick. Touch your jaw for a beat with your thumb while listening to someone. It frames your face and subtly draws eyes to your mouth. That small move, held for a second and then released, is a micro pose that photographs well without a camera present. She doesn't consciously think frame, but she feels it. Everything you do should feel like gravity, not static. Gravity pulls without shouting. Eye contact is the strongest wordless sentence you speak. The mistake is staring like a statue or cutting eye contact too quickly like a teenager. There's a rhythm to getting it right. First, notice her without snapping to her like a spotlight. Let your eyes sweep and land. Once they land, hold for a count of 1, maybe 2. Soften the muscles around your eyes. Let a micro smile visit the corner of your mouth. Barely there, more suggestion than statement. Then look away first, slow and unhurried, like you're letting your attention drift somewhere that also matters. After a few breaths, let your eyes return, as if pulled back, not sent. That second glance is the invitation. The first says, "I noticed you." The second says, "I chose to notice you again." Choice is pressure. Pressure is thrilling when it's clean. If her eyes return, hold, soften further, let your head tilt a fraction. Not a bow, more like you're receiving a secret. Then look away again and give her air. Tension grows in the space you leave unoccupied. Use the triangle gaze when you're within a few feet and the vibe is promising. It's simple. Eyes to her left eye, then right eye, then down to the mouth, then back up. The pattern is slow and subtle. You're not counting out loud in your mind, but you're not letting your eyes jitter. It signals warmth and romance without a single syllable. If you pair this with a slight exhale through the nose, visible enough to soften your cheeks but not theatrical, you'll feel her mirror it unconsciously. Mirrors are one of the oldest games in the world. People align their breathing and blink rates when attracted or intrigued. But this is crucial. Always calibrate. If she averts her gaze quickly and angles her body away, you reduce intensity or pivot attention elsewhere. Flirting without words is as much about listening with your eyes as speaking with them. Facial expression matters more than bone structure. A relaxed jaw and a softly parted lip carry more magnetism than 10 loud smiles. Smile rarely, and let every smile mean something. The most seductive smile for a man is the mid-smile, the almost smile. It's an I know expression, not a please like me expression. Paired with stillness, it creates a feeling that there's more behind the curtain. You are not trying to be mysterious. You are being selective about what you reveal. That distinction changes your body language in ways you won't fully notice, but she will. Now, the simplest, most overlooked nonverbal move, the pace of your transitions. Every transition, standing to walking, walking to standing, reaching for a glass, turning your head, shifting your weight, should be intentional and unhurried. People read transitions like punctuation. Fast transitions are exclamation points everywhere. Slow transitions are ellipses that invite curiosity. When you turn toward her from a nearby angle, don't whip your head. Let your shoulders initiate the turn. Then your head follows, then your eyes, then your smile, in that order. That sequence is subtle, but it feels like an embrace arriving before the gaze. She won't explain why it feels good, she'll just feel it. Proximity is language. Approach indirectly. You don't need to march straight at her like you've fixed a target. Instead, move to a nearby position that naturally puts you in her peripheral awareness. An open spot at the bar 2 paces away, a display she also glanced at, a path that crosses hers with a comfortable buffer. When you arrive within her sphere, do nothing for a beat. Let your presence register. The silence is not empty, it's charged. Then give a small, respectful cue that acknowledges her without begging for engagement. That cue can be as simple as aligning your torso a few degrees more toward her than toward anyone else, letting your eyes find hers for a 1 count and return to your glass, letting a micro smile flicker. If the return signal comes, eyes hold longer, head tilts toward you, shoulder opens, feet point in your direction, you have green lights. If no signal comes, stay centered and enjoy yourself. Unreactivity is power. Power is magnetic. Understand objects as props. A glass, a jacket, a book, a bracelet, each can be a wordless amplifier. Hold your glass low to convey relaxation. Drape your jacket over one shoulder to expose posture and create a symmetry, which draws the eye. Touch the rim of your glass with a slow finger turn when you're thinking. It places your hand near your mouth and subtly frames your lips again. Hook a thumb in your belt just for a beat while you shift weight. It opens your torso and signals ease. Props should never become fidgets. If it spins, clicks, or snaps, drop it. Fidgeting screams self-soothing. Flirting without words is the art of soothing her nervous system by showing yours is already soothed. Social energy is part of your nonverbal game. You do not need to be the center of a group. You need to look like you belong to the world you're in. Greet the staff with genuine warmth. A nod to the door host. A 2-second exchange with the bartender that shows familiarity. Patience if the place is busy. This reads as status because it reads as established. Talk to others near you in calm tones and relaxed gestures. Even if they're strangers, the way you interact with them illustrates your default vibe. If you can make anyone in your radius feel seen without performing, she will notice. She won't call it social proof, she'll call it something about him. Let's get precise with a silent sequence you can reuse anywhere. You enter and pause. You locate a vantage point near, not on top of, the flow. You breathe into your body and keep your transitions slow. You scan, and your eyes land on her. Count. 1, 2. Micro smile. Look away. You reposition yourself closer but not adjacent, passing within her peripheral awareness. You give yourself a count of 3 breaths. You glance back. If her eyes meet yours and hold for even half a second longer than normal, you tilt your head 2 degrees, soften your mouth, then look away again. You break the tension first to signal you can handle it. Another breath. You adjust your stance so your torso is a quiet invitation. You let her decide if the energy continues. If she chooses to bridge the gap with a look back, a hair tuck directed toward you, or a step that aligns her foot with yours, you step closer by half the distance, not all of it, and let the silence do the work. If her signal stops, you release the thread and enjoy the room. That release is not failure, it's composure. Composure is rare. Rarity is valuable. There's a nonverbal move almost no one uses because it feels too simple, the acknowledge and return. If you catch her looking, and you know she caught you catching her, give the smallest upward nod, barely a degree, paired with the softest smile. Then return to what you were doing with total composure. This tells her you saw her, you liked what you saw, and you're not going to orbit her. It invites her to orbit you. If she does, you'll feel her presence near you again, even from across the room, and you can resume the game. If not, nothing breaks. You're unaffected. That calm self-sufficiency is the backbone of silent flirtation. Without it, everything else looks like tactics. With it, everything looks like style. Scent matters more than you think. Human brains file people under smell faster than under syllables. You don't need a cloud of cologne. You need a signature that appears only when she's within a foot or two. Apply lightly to pulse points where she would only notice if she approached. Base of the throat, inside the wrists, a touch behind the ears. Clean skin is the best fragrance you own. Soap that complements your natural scent beats any bottle. The principle is the same as eye contact. Let discovery be earned, not forced. Clothing is silent speech. The wrong fit ruins everything. The right fit makes low-cost fabric look expensive. Choose pieces that outline strength, shoulders, forearms, chest, without screaming for validation. Dark, simple, textured beats, bright, loud, busy. One detail can become your signature. A watch with weight, a cuff, a chain, a ring. Wear it because it means something to you, not because you hope it impresses her. Meaning changes how you touch it and how often. Touch a meaningful ring once in an hour, and it looks like memory. Touch a meaningless trinket 10 times, and it looks like insecurity. When you're near enough that touch could be on the table, remember that touch communicates respect before it communicates attraction. The first touch, if it happens, should be incidental and easy. a gentle guide past someone in a crowded space, a light contact on the back of the shoulder blade as you make room for others, a brief brush when handing an object. Read the reply. If she leans in instead of away, if her hand lingers when you pass the glass, if her feet stay pointed toward you, the door is not closed. If her body recoils, you immediately widen space. You're not entitled to touch, you're privileged to be allowed. That mindset changes your micro-behaviors. It keeps the vibe safe, which paradoxically allows the vibe to deepen. Timing is everything. You want to exit on a peak, not on a plateau. If you've shared 2 or 3 glances that lengthened, if her body angle opened, if you've built that tight, sweet tension that makes time slow down, end the moment early. Take the victory of charged eye contact and step away with a smile that promises there's more in you than this 5-second loop. Create a small absence. Absence is a multiplier. When you return later, if you choose to, everything begins at a higher baseline. If this is hitting something inside you, drop your thoughts below. I read every single one. You can flirt without words in almost any environment because the language of presence travels. In a cafe, your entrance slows, your path is straight. You take a seat with your back not to the door but to a wall where you can see the room. Your attention moves between your own activity and the flow of people. If your eyes meet hers over a cup, the same rhythm applies. First glance, release, second glance, soften, release. Stir your drink slowly. Hold the spoon in a way that frames your hand and wrist, not as a nervous tick. If you stand to leave, stand at your pace, not the room's. If she stands in that same window, you measure your step to pass close enough that your scent can be noticed. Then you give her the micro nod of acknowledgement and go. If she wants a word, she'll open her mouth. If not, you let the nonverbal arc do its work. Many connections are decided within those 15 silent seconds. At a gathering, the nonverbal conversation becomes a triangle. You, her, and the group energy. Don't crowd her with your presence if others are engaged with her. Instead, position yourself where she can see you and you can see her, interact with others fully, and let the dance of glances happen in the spaces between conversations. Occasionally, as someone tells a story, let your eyes shift to her on the punchline, not to check her reaction, but to share a private angle. Hold that half second too long, then return to the group. You just created an invisible thread. Threads, not nets, make the best traps. Emotion is the core fuel. Silent flirtation isn't cold, it is warm and controlled. You project steadiness with the body, but you let your face show a range: curiosity, amusement, appreciation. Appreciation is different from approval. Approval is, do you accept me? Appreciation is, I enjoy what I notice. You can appreciate the way light catches the edge of her hair as she turns, the way her laughter ripples through a circle, the deliberate way she folded a napkin. Appreciation lives in the eyes and the smallest changes at the corner of the mouth. When your eyes say good, a woman feels seen. Being seen is addictive, but again, calibrate. You offer, she replies. You adjust. You are not a salesman trying to close. You are a man tuning an instrument you both want to hear. Internal state is everything. If your mind is loud, self-judgment, outcomes, imaginary arguments, you will leak desperation even in silence. Manage your state by shifting from evaluation to sensation. When you feel nerves, label 3 sensations: the temperature of the room on your forearms, the weight of your feet on the floor, the texture of the glass in your hand. Sensation anchors you in the present. The present is where nonverbal language lives. Words can lie. The body in the present seldom does. If you feel your chest tighten, lengthen your exhale subtly. If your jaw clenches, touch your tongue to the roof of your mouth behind your teeth and let your jaw drop a millimeter. These micro resets are invisible but powerful. You can practice them alone until they become instinct. One advanced technique: breath and blink syncing. People unconsciously sync to those they're drawn to. If you stand near her and notice her breathing cadence, subtle moves of the rib cage, the rise of the collarbones, you can let yours match and then lead by slowing slightly. It's not hypnosis, it's courtesy. Your calm lends her calm. Blink rate follows anxiety. Slow yours naturally and hers may follow. This makes eye contact feel safer and longer, which compounds attraction. You are not doing this to control, you are doing this to harmonize. Harmonized nervous systems want to be closer. Another advanced move: intentional stillness during noise. If a room gets loud, laughter, a sudden burst of music, a cheer, don't add to the spike. Hold your posture, breathe, let the wave pass through you. The contrast marks you out. Her eyes will go to the person who is unchanged by the storm, not aloof, not bored, steady. Steadiness is rare. Rare is valuable. You'll hear me repeat that because it underpins every silent technique worth using. Silence is not emptiness. It is a canvas. Many men fear silence and rush to fill it with jokes, facts, biographies. Without words, you let the moment speak. You let her feel the air between you. The thrill is in the unspoken. When you both feel the pull and you still choose pacing over blurting, you demonstrate a higher order control that screams masculine presence. If you know a brother who needs to hear this, send it to him today. Don't keep it to yourself. Let's talk boundaries, because respect is sexy. Reading no silently is as important as reading yes. No might look like closed-off arms paired with stiff shoulders that don't soften even after your second glance. It might be a body pivot that puts you outside her torso's direction. It might be a rapid blink rate paired with a forced smile. When you see those, release tension instantly. Angle your body away, widen space, redirect your attention. When you show you can stop on a dime, you become safer. Safety and desire are not opposites. Safety allows desire. A man who doesn't override signals with ego rises in value even in the eyes of the woman who isn't receptive. Other people see it, and your social currency increases. Humor can be nonverbal: a raised eyebrow at a shared absurdity, an exaggerated glance toward the ceiling after a clumsy moment, a silent toast across the room with a barely perceptible grin. These create shared frames. Shared frames are a form of intimacy. You are not teasing her. You are inviting her into a viewpoint. The less you force it, the more it lands. If she plays back, a smirk, a headshake, an eye roll timed to yours, you've started a dialogue without a word. A quick note on jealousy and scarcity. Real scarcity is not manufactured. Don't fake busyness. Be selective. Don't pretend you don't care. Actually build a life that you won't abandon for any stranger's attention. When you stand in a room and your body says, "I'm fully here and I'll be fully elsewhere soon," you look like a man with direction. Direction is magnetic. Magnetism draws even when you're quiet. Here's a subtle endgame almost no one thinks about: the exit glance. When you decide to leave the room, don't sneak out. You retrace a half step to a position where she can see you. You let your eyes find hers once more. You deliver an easy, appreciative smile that says, "That was ours." And then you turn and go without stutter. That move leaves a soft afterimage. If paths cross again that night or another time, you've already built a silent history. Silent histories are stronger than sloppy conversations. If you've been wondering when to finally speak, here's the metric. Speak when words would make the moment more intimate than silence. If your presence and hers are suspended in that pleasant gravity and words would break it, hold. If silence has peaked and a simple phrase would deepen it, you can let a sentence land. But you don't have to. Often she will speak first because you left space. If she does, you've earned every letter that follows. If she doesn't, you still won. You demonstrated control, and control keeps paying you back. Practice builds instinct. You can rehearse the rhythms without a crowd. Practice entrance pauses at a doorway in your home. Practice the slow turn, shoulders, head, eyes, mouth, in the mirror until it's natural. Practice the micro smile that doesn't pull your cheeks so high you squint. Practice holding a gaze with your reflection for 2 counts, then looking away softly. Practice breathing patterns with music playing and notice how your body wants to match the tempo. Then choose your tempo anyway. You are training your nervous system to lead instead of follow. What about mistakes? You will overhold eye contact sometimes. You will look away too soon other times. You will fidget and catch yourself. You will misread a signal and course correct. None of that matters if you recover with ease. The only unforgivable mistake is neediness. The compulsion to force a response. Neediness makes your silence feel like pressure. Presence makes your silence feel like oxygen. If a moment goes awkward, smile with your eyes, exhale, adjust your stance, and shift attention for a beat. The room resets. You reset. The game resumes at a clean slate because you keep it clean. One more advanced move, the near, far, near rhythm. You appear within her awareness, create the first thread, then you move farther for a while and let the thread stretch, then you return closer and test the elasticity. Done right, it feels less like push-pull and more like tides. People crave tides. The body loves predictability with surprise woven in. Your predictability is your composure. Your surprise is your return. When you return, bring a new micro-detail. Jacket off now, sleeves rolled one turn, watch glint visible. Not costume changes, signals of time passing. Time passing together, even wordlessly, is bonding. Now remember this, women are not a puzzle to solve, but a presence to meet. You meet her by fully occupying yourself first. Your body says, I have nothing to prove, and your eyes say, but I see something I like. That contradiction, self-sufficiency plus focused appreciation, is the electricity of silent flirtation. Hold both and every space changes when you enter. If your chest feels a little more open right now and your mind is mapping these moves onto places you frequent, the cafe, the gym, the bookstore, the rooftop, good. You should feel the pull to test this quietly the next time you step into a room. Don't plan lines, plan breath, don't plan jokes, plan posture, don't plan outcomes, plan presence, then let the room meet you. If what you've heard so far is reshaping your standards, stay with me until the final words. The last frame is the one most men never get. The message you carry out of this is simple and ruthless. You are the climate, not the weather. Weather happens to people. Climate defines what's possible. Walk in as the climate. Breathe as the climate. Move as the climate. Let your eyes do the work that mouths destroy. If you feel that hunger to speak, test this instead. Hold 2 counts longer, smile 1 degree softer, step half the distance, not all of it. Leave on the high note, not the fade out. Watch how often she chases the silence you create. Watch how often the world brings you words without you forcing them. It won't be magic, it will be structure, masculine structure, applied to energy. And that, more than anything, reads as irresistible. Here's your quiet assignment. The next time you enter a space, choose 3 moments to say nothing and let your presence say everything. 1 at the door, 1 in proximity, 1 when you leave. That's your wordless signature. Practice it until it's yours. If this resonated, share the insight with someone you want to see rise with you. If there's a line that punched through your old habits, tell me which one below. I read every single one. And if you want more, the kind that goes deeper than tactics into the way you carry yourself in every room you enter, make sure you stay close. The next conversation we have might be the one that flips the switch from, I hope it happens, to it happens because I happen.